Some stories take place in the daylight, but this story lives in the shadows, in the silent hours of the night, when the world sleeps and the streets fall still. A young girl witnesses something she was never meant to see. A towering figure, cloaked in darkness, walking through London like a ghost from another world. He moves between buildings with impossible speed. He peers into windows with glowing eyes. He carries a long trumpet, yet he isn't hunting. He's delivering dreams. When he spots the girl watching him, he does the only thing a giant can do. He takes her, and that moment begins an adventure that blends courage, fear, wonder, and destiny. A journey into a hidden land where friendly giants dream of peace, and monstrous giants dream of devouring humans. This is the story of Sophie and the Big Friendly Giant. Welcome back to Real Movie Breakdown, the channel where we turn movies into long, detailed, cinematic explanations. Today's video is a full, extended, scene-by-scene breakdown of the BFG 2016, directed by Steven Spielberg. Let's begin. The film opens in the quiet streets of London. Fog rolls across the pavement, lamps glow faintly, and the entire city is asleep, except for one girl. Sophie, a clever, lonely orphan who suffers from insomnia, wanders through her orphanage at 3 a.m. She checks the hallway clock, reads books under her blanket, looks out the window onto the silent world, whispers to herself to stay alert. She calls this moment the witching hour, the time of night where strange things are said to happen. Tonight, she is proven right. While looking out her window, she sees street lamps bending, one by one, as if something huge is blocking their light. Then she sees it. A giant, cloaked in a long dark robe, walking silently through London. He stops at houses and blows something inside windows using a trumpet. Then he turns and sees Sophie watching him. He freezes. She freezes. And in that single moment, her fate is sealed. Sophie dives under her blanket, trembling. But the giant is already approaching her building. His shadow looms across the orphanage walls. His massive hand reaches through her window quietly, smoothly, and without harming her, he grabs the blanket with Sophie wrapped inside. He runs across London with superhuman speed, moving like a shadow through fields, forests, and mountains. Sophie clings to his fingers, terrified and speechless. Finally, the two enter a massive hidden valley. Giant country. The giant takes Sophie inside his home, a giant-sized cave filled with gigantic furniture, jars containing swirling golden mists, strange tools and mechanical contraptions, stacks of books, a gigantic cloak, vegetables the size of trucks. He places Sophie on a giant table. She finally sees his face clearly. He is old but gentle, with a soft expression and bright, curious eyes. She asks him if he will eat her. He is horrified. "No, I is the Big Friendly Giant. I do not eat human beings." His words are clumsy and broken because he never learned proper English. But his tone is kind. He introduces himself as the BFG. He explains that he only eats snozzcumbers, a horrible-tasting giant vegetable. He kidnapped Sophie because she saw him, and humans cannot know giants exist. He isn't cruel. He is afraid. Suddenly, thunderous footsteps shake the ground. The BFG tenses. "They is coming," he whispers. 9 enormous giants barge into the cave. They are Flesh Lumpiator the leader, Blood Bottler, Man Hugger, Meat Dripper, Butcher Boy, Gizzard Gulper, Bone Cruncher, Child Chewer, Maid Masher. These giants are enormous, violent, wild, unpredictable, man-eaters. They bully the BFG, push him around, and destroy parts of his home for fun. They sniff the air. Human being. Blood Bottler growls. Sophie, hidden inside a giant snozzcumber, holds her breath while the giants search the cave. The horrible smell hides her scent. Eventually, the giants leave laughing, fighting, and stomping back across the valley. Sophie realizes the terrible truth. These giants eat humans every night. and the BFG, being the smallest, can't stop them. The next night, the BFG travels with Sophie to a glowing world called Dream Country. This place is magical, a floating valley filled with colorful lights and swirling golden dust. The BFG leaps gracefully into the air, catching dreams with his giant net. He explains that dreams are living creatures. Each one has a personality. Some create happiness. Some create nightmares. Some can change destinies. He bottles each dream carefully. Sophie begins to understand that the BFG is truly special. He has a gentle heart and spends his life giving children good dreams, even though no one knows he exists. Inside the cave, Sophie sees a little wooden object, a toy. She asks the BFG about it. At first, he avoids the question. Then he quietly reveals the truth. Years ago, another child lived with him. Another child who saw him. Another child he cared for. And the bigger giants found him. The child was eaten. The BFG never forgave himself. Sophie's heart breaks for him. She understands why he avoids conflict, why he fears the other giants, and why he tries to keep her safe. Blood Bottler returns to the cave after smelling Sophie again. This time, he is more aggressive. He pushes past the BFG and begins searching. The BFG throws Sophie into a jar of ghostly green dreams to hide her. Blood Bottler nearly discovers her, but the BFG distracts him by tossing a nightmare into his face. The terrified giant retreats. Sophie realizes she cannot keep hiding forever. The other giants aren't going to stop hunting, and sooner or later, one of them will find her. She refuses to leave the BFG. Instead, she decides to help him end the giant's terror forever. Sophie knows the BFG is smart, gentle, and careful, but also fearful of the other giants. She encourages him. You don't have to be brave all the time. Just be brave once. At first, the BFG refuses to fight, but Sophie persists. Together, they come up with a dangerous, impossible idea. They will go to the Queen of England. They will give her a dream. They will ask for help. The BFG knows it is risky. Humans could attack him. Armies could imprison him. The Queen might faint or panic, but Sophie convinces him. The BFG sneaks across London with Sophie hidden in his pocket. He moves through back alleys, rooftops, parks, and gardens, dodging patrols and staying out of sight. Finally, they arrive at Buckingham Palace. Sophie slips a letter under the Queen's footman's door, explaining, "Tonight, the Queen will have a dream. This dream will explain everything. When she wakes up, she must look outside." In Dream Country, the BFG creates a very special dream. A dream showing the giants, their nightly hunting, the people they have eaten, Sophie, the BFG himself, and a plea for help. He blends happy dreams with nightmares, creating a message powerful enough to make the Queen listen. Then, under the moonlight, he silently enters the palace through the window and blows the dream into the Queen's bedroom. Morning arrives. The Queen wakes up startled after the haunting dream. She senses it wasn't imagination. Her staff rushes in, and they find Sophie sitting on the windowsill. The Queen calmly invites her in. Then the BFG steps into the room. The staff panics. The dogs bark. The footmen collapse. But the Queen remains steady. Sophie explains everything. The BFG bows politely, introducing himself. The Queen listens, stunned but thoughtful. She realizes the dream she saw is real. She decides to help. Immediately, she calls the military. A full breakfast feast is prepared for the BFG. Giant-sized plates served by dozens of servants. The scene is filled with detailed protocol, formal manners, and the Queen's calm leadership as she coordinates the mission. A British military convoy and several helicopters fly the BFG and Sophie back to Giant Country. The giants are sleeping. The soldiers work silently. They tie massive chains around each giant, attach the chains to helicopters, lift the giants into the air. The giants wake up, confused and terrified. But it's too late. For the first time in his life, the BFG watches the other giants feel powerless. The giants are flown to a remote island where they can no longer harm humans. They are not executed. They are not tortured. But they are fed only snozcumber, a fitting punishment for their crimes. The BFG is finally safe. Sophie is adopted by the Queen's household and lives in a beautiful bedroom in the palace. But even with her new life, she misses the BFG. She whispers into the wind, "I hope he's happy." In Giant Country, the BFG now lives alone, but peaceful, safe, and respected. He writes letters. He eats better food sent by the palace. He is no longer afraid. And every morning, he listens to the wind, because Sophie sometimes speaks to him through it. Their worlds are separate, yet connected forever. The story ends with the BFG hearing Sophie's voice and smiling softly. And that was the full story of the BFG 2016, a tale of courage, kindness, and an unlikely friendship that saved an entire world. If you enjoyed this long-form cinematic breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to Real Movie Breakdown for more detailed, story-focused explanations like this one.